We now return to local news with Joan, who will start with sports.
And the sport that I'm to read about is hockey. Southgate climbed off the foot of the Premier Division of the English Hockey League after recording a crucial 4-2 victory at Hampstead and Westminster on Saturday. Simeon Bird and David Wilson twice gave the visitors the lead, only for Hampstead to hit back on both occasions. But goals from Callum Burden and Matt Coombs in the last 15 minutes secured just their third league win of the season. However, Southgate missed the opportunity to pull further away from the bottom the following day when they lost 3-2 at home to Reading, despite goals from Andy Fell and Coombs. Southgate face a crucial match at Brooklands, who replaced them at the foot of the table on Sunday.
Enfield and Haringey Athletics Club's Margaret Adeoye has been chosen to represent Great Britain and Northern Ireland at the upcoming European Indoor Championships. The Middlesex athlete is part of the 4x4 metre squad chosen to compete in Sweden from March the 1st to the 3rd. Adeoye is currently coached by former Olympic gold medalist Linford Christie and is joined in the squad by Christine Ohuruogo, Perry Shakes-Drayton, Shana Cox, Elodie Child and Megan Beasley. Enfield-born Olympic bronze medalist Robbie Grabars will compete in the men's high jump in the Gothenburg Championships.
And now for some rugby union. Enfield Ignatians edged to a 32-30 victory at home to high-flying Holt in a 10-try thriller in London Division 2 North East on Saturday. 2 tries from Danon O'Maker and 1 from Sean Quinn gave Ignatians a deserved 15-8 lead at the interval, and they extended their advantage to 27-11 after the break as Rob Wire and Sam Emery touchdown. However, the visitors staged a stirring fight back and looked to have snatched victory until Luke Ellis marked his league debut by scoring the decisive try for Ignatians with 2 minutes remaining.
And I have a sports item. Julian Edwards scored a hat-trick on Saturday as Enfield 1893 produced one of their best performances of the season to romp to a 6-1 victory at home to Sawbridgeworth Town in the Essex Senior League. The E's went into the match just 3 points ahead of their visitors in the table, but there was a gulf in class between the sides on the pitch as Edwards' treble, coupled with goals from Bradley Drysdale, Neil Hughes and John Mabamara, helped the hosts to claim their biggest win of the campaign. We did a really professional job against a side who were in the top 5 and began the season with high hopes of challenging for promotion. Manager Gordon Boateng said, "We fully controlled the game and thoroughly deserved to win. In fact, we also created lots of other chances, which we failed to convert."
Well, here I've got Chicken Shed, the theatre changing lives. And there are 3 pieces of information, but I'll give you the box office first because they apply for all of them. The box office number is 0208 292 9222 and www.chickenshed.org.uk. Now the first one is Tales from the Shed for £5.50. These are entertaining shows every Friday and Saturday morning for 0 to 7-year-olds from the 22nd of February. Next, Saturday Shed for 6 to 12-year-olds, and that's £6. Performance workshops from the 23rd of February. And the last one, Emerging Writers Week, and that's £6. celebrating writing nurtured and developed within Chicken Shed. The writers group from the 20th of February to the 23rd of February.
Cleo Lane and friends are appearing at the Millfield Theatre in Silver Street, Enfield, on Wednesday the 6th of March at 8 p.m. Tickets will be £26, or if you order online, there'll be £1 less, so therefore there'll be £25. Jazz legend Cleo Lane comes to Millfield Theatre for one thrilling night of musical excellence. An evening with Cleo Lane and friends is a must-see for all lovers of live music, quality jazz, and world-class entertainment. For more information, visit www.millfieldtheatre.co.uk, and the box office telephone number is 0208 807 6680.
And some more what's on from the Chicken Shed. Again, the box office is 0208 292 92222, and the website is www.chickenshed.org.uk. Firstly, they have a comedy night. It's 10 to £12 on the door. Features Shappy Cassandi, Ian Stone, Pat Cahill, Alfie Brown and Charlie Baker, and that's on the 28th of February from 7:30 to 10:30. And the next event is called Globalise 2013. Tickets are £10 or £8 concessions, and this is a passionate, emotive and vibrant show. There's a limited amount of £5 tickets for under 25s. Evenings and matinees from the 8th of March to the 17th of March.
Have a what's on also at Millfield Theatre. Soul Divas, Jean Carne. That's Carne. On Friday the 22nd and Saturday the 23rd of March at 8 p.m. at the Millfield Theatre, Silver Street, Edmonton, N18 1P for Peter, J for Jack. Tickets £25, but if you get it online, it's £24. Outstanding soul legend Jean Carne is one of the first African-American women to define her own voice and image. Her chart-topping R&B hits include Closer Than Close, Flame of Love, Everything Must Change, and Ain't No Way. Come and see this outstanding soul legend live at Millfield Theatre for the first time. The box office number is 0208 807 6680 or www.millfieldtheatre, all one word, .co.uk.
Now I have one letter from Josie H. Aware, Rosemary Avenue, Enfield. I am amazed that Joan Ryan has the nerve to criticize anyone over the problems we have with Chase Farm, unless, of course, they are doing a worse job than she did. And you're asked to look at the Advertiser letters of January 30. May I remind your readers of her history with this when she was our MP, and I'm sure that if I am wrong, she will correct me. In 1999, she campaigned hard for and secured an administrative merger with Barnet Hospital. Do I remember her saying it was so that Chase Farm's money would be used to clear Barnet's debts? No, I do not. Do I remember her saying that such a partnership would bring huge benefits to us all? Yes, I do. Do I remember her condemning her own government in Parliament for this disgraceful move? No, I do not. When, as a local MP, she was forced to show support at the hospital gates, every picture declared the word hypocrisy. In 2004, she and the then Health Minister, John Reid, visited Chase Farm and announced that there would be an £80 million investment in our hospital by 2005. But this had dropped off the radar, and the only promise we then had was the downgrade. An MP like Joan, who has been the architect of the failure to secure Chase Farm's future, should hang their head in shame instead of trying to score cheap points from the person who made her redundant. Like Ed Balls, who helped to engineer the UK's financial demise, she has no right to publicly condemn others who are doing their best to make the most of the shambolic state they left us in.
And now a letter from a Mr. Charles Barry of Little Grove Avenue, West Cheshunt. It was my misfortune to have to take my wife to Chase Farm Hospital recently. Although she is normally able to walk to most places, including Enfield town, where she used to enjoy shopping, this was not the case today, nor on a previous visit. Enfield Council, in its wisdom, has decided to ban parking, except for residents, in the streets near to the hospital. Not content with that, it has made parking inside the hospital grounds difficult, expensive and hard to find. We arrived at 9:15 a.m. for a 9:45 appointment. It was a good job we did it, as it took us ages to find a free parking place, and we ended up on the top story of the multi-story car park, for which we had to pay £3. We then drove into Enfield town and parked in the multi-story there, where we had to queue up for ages for the new ticket machine no one seems to know how to use. The poor woman in front of us had entered her car registration at least 5 times, only to be told it was invalid. Eventually, after reading the small print on the machine, I worked out how to get round this problem. All of this was totally unnecessary, because the old machine worked adequately. Then I realised why greedy Enfield town had replaced the old machine. It was because too many good Samaritans had been giving their unexpired tickets to incoming motorists in order to save them money. At a time when austerity measures are decimating high streets throughout the country, it is disgusting the council wants to screw more money out of motorists. It should be ashamed of itself. In the short term, it is the shops that will suffer, and in the long term, it will deservedly affect Enfield Council. I know I shall avoid coming here at all costs in the future. Unfortunately, owing to health reasons, I can't avoid going to Chase Farm Hospital.
And I have a letter from a G.A. Musey, this Mitchell Road, Palmer's Green. In response to Outlook Bleak for Broomfield House, advertiser February 6th, the remains of Broomfield House have been an eyesore in Broomfield Park for 29 years, and it is high time the site was cleared and a decent refreshment facility for visitors to the park was provided, as in other Enfield parks. It is not surprising that the Heritage Lottery Fund refused to contribute £4.175 million towards the estimated cost of £6.7 million for building when there was so little left of the house in the first place. It should be remembered that in 1996, Whitbread plc offered to rebuild the house to its original design, incorporating a family restaurant and room for community use, supported by English Heritage, at a cost of £1.8 million. However, local not-in-my-backyarders opposed the plan. They called it a pub in the park and used ancient covenants to force Whitbread to withdraw the offer. A rich benefactor may come forward, but use of the house would still be governed by the covenants. Enthusiastic supporters of Broomfield House seem to want to rebuild at any cost. We are now at £6.7 million. But I hope that Enfield Council will not be persuaded to follow this route when there are more deserving causes across the borough needing money.
In the Enfield Independent, dated February the 6th, under the headline, Men Jailed for Shop Raid, it was reported that Christopher Egan, 21, of no fixed abode, leant over a newsagent's shop counter and attempted to grab the till. The Metropolitan Police have now stated that it was in fact Egan's co-defendant, Sam Fitzrusey, 20, of Lincoln Way, who leant over the counter to grab the till. We are happy to set the record straight.
A metal thief who stole cable from the tube network has been jailed for 3 years. Christian Saskow, 35, of no fixed address, was found guilty of failing to appear in court and of 10 counts of conspiracy to steal cable from London Underground between February and May last year. He was arrested following a raid on a home in Newham, East London, where officers from British Transport Police found more than a ton of cable sheathing in the loft. Saskow stole cable used for tube trains in the borough of Enfield, as well as Barnet, Epping, Whetstone, Northwood and Whitford, swooping 10 times in the space of 3 months. He was sentenced to 3 years in jails at Snaresbrook Crown Court on February the 7th. Investigating Officer P.C. Adrian Curzon from BTP said, "There is a common assumption that cable theft is a victimless crime, with the only effects being felt by the railway industry. But this is not the case. Theft of cable can have a huge impact on the running of the rail network, and thousands of passengers are inconvenienced by it every year. Stealing railway cable is incredibly dangerous. Thieves not only risk a prison sentence, but also serious injury and death through electrocution."
It was almost a scene from a boy's own adventure when a cub pack pitched its camp beneath the fossilized skeletons of terrifying giant lizards. Cubs from the 4th Enfield Scout Group spent the night in the Dinosaur Gallery at the Natural History Museum in South Kensington. The Cubs were taking part in the museum's A Dino Snores event last week, in which groups explored the Dinosaur Gallery by torchlight and slept in the shadow of a Diplodocus skeleton. Cub Scout Kerry Canner, 9, said, "I loved going to Dino Snores. I enjoyed learning about spiders and dinosaurs. We got to mix art with science when we made T-shirts, and I had a lot of fun staying overnight in a museum."
I know this from Doug Taylor, leader of Enfield Council. He says, "We pledged to be an open and accountable council when elected in 2010. We promised to listen to local people and shape our organisation and services around their priorities and needs. With trust in public institutions at an historic low and Enfield suffering from unprecedented government funding cuts, an open and honest dialogue with residents is more important than ever. As part of this dialogue, Enfield Council conducts a resident survey every year. This gives people an opportunity to tell us their priorities, what we are doing well, and where we need to improve. This year's findings are very encouraging. You are happier than ever before with the services provided by Enfield Council. Across the board, no service experienced a drop in satisfaction levels, with many hitting 80 to 90% approval bracket. We have worked tirelessly to improve residents' quality of life and the services they depend on, despite ever-shrinking budgets caused by government cuts. I am proud that so many people's hard work has been recognised. Our open approach is also appreciated by residents, with 71% expressing satisfaction with how well the council is keeping them informed, up 35% since 2007. We have saved £60 million over the past 3 years, driven by a commitment to do more for less. Residents recognise our efforts, with more than ever before, 60%, saying the council provides value for money, a 13% increase on last year. But we should not be complacent or smug. We don't always get it right, and sometimes service may not be as good as we want it to be. But what I can promise you is that we will continue to try to improve and learn for both what we do well and also what doesn't work. I am heartened that you say we are going in the right direction.
The widow of a man who raised thousands of pounds for charity is calling on people to continue donating their spare cash. Mayor Pearson, whose husband Dennis died on January the 30th, is keen that donations for the Home Farm Trust, a charity for people with learning disabilities with a base in Bishop Stortford, Hertfordshire, should continue to pour in. Mr. Pearson died at the age of 90 after suffering a heart attack. He and his wife were just months away from celebrating their diamond wedding anniversary. During his lifetime, Mr. Pearson raised £50,000 for the charity, which provides support for the couple's 53-year-old daughter, Anne Elizabeth, who has a learning disability. Mrs. Pearson, 82, of Maplin Close, Winchmore Hill, said, "The Home Farm Trust has really given Anne Elizabeth her independence and such a happy life. She has had such good carers there, and especially now she has found her niche working in the garden centre there. I am so pleased that people have contributed toward the charity in Dennis's memory. We held dances, we organised candlelit balls and whist drives. Of course it was hard work, but it meant so much to him that he just kept going all the time. Mr. Pearson was a keen golfer and worked tirelessly for the benefit of the community. For 1 year, he was chairman of the local branch of the Association of Ex-Round-Tablers Clubs, an organisation that promotes community involvement and charity work. Since her husband died, Mrs. Pearson has been overwhelmed by the messages of condolence sent to her by family and friends. I have received 70 cards and emails from people from all over the world whose lives he touched, and so many letters from friends, she said. It's been so much I can't really take it all in, to be honest. Mrs. Pearson hopes that people will continue to commemorate his life by making a donation to the Home Farm Trust to help with the extension to the garden centre. She thanked the Home Farm Trust and the garden centre for the flowers they provided for Mr. Pearson's funeral. Go to www.h for Harry, F for Freddie, T for Tom.org.uk to donate to the Home Farm Trust.
2 fundraisers are gearing up for an extravaganza of dance, music and comedy set to take Enfield and the neighbouring borough of Haringey by storm later this year. Nina Chung, 27, of Lavender Road, Enfield, and Sharita Nicholson-Porter, 26, from Tottenham, are determined to restore the image of their hometown following the riots that tore through North London in the summer of 2011 before spreading to other parts of the country. The duo are putting on a show-stopping extravaganza with live music, dance acts and comedians, all to raise money for the Myasthenia Gravis Association and the Butterfly AVM charity, 2 charities that are concerned on rare disorders affecting children. Nina's 8-year-old daughter suffers from myasthenia gravis, an autoimmune disease that impairs muscle control. At the same time as raising awareness of the disease, this event, the Community Give Back, will benefit everybody because we want the community to feel united again, she said. We want to generate as much money as possible for the charities. So, as well as selling tickets, we will be holding an auction and raffle as part of the event. The 2 women who became friends when they started raising money in aid of charities for children's illnesses have been hitting the fundraising trail in Enfield. They are determined to whip up support among businesses in Enfield and Haringey, and even though the event is still 6 months away, it is scheduled to mark the 2nd anniversary of the Tottenham riots, Nina and Sharita are already thrilled with how the communities have come on board to support the project. We already have singer Deli Atkins and gospel singer Jason Nicholson Porter lined up to take part in the event, as well as U2 street dance sensation Rhea Thompson Williams, and appearances by the Dance Revolution Performing Arts School and the EN2 crew, and we are keen to line up comedians as well, said Sharita of St. Paul's Road. The community give back is due to take place on August the 10th at the Bernie Grant Arts Centre in Town Hall Approach Road, Tottenham. Tickets will be available through the box office closer to the date.
Time is running out for people to have their say on planned police station closures in Enfield. The Mayor of London's draft police and crime plan, released last month, maps Mayor Boris Johnson's plans for policing in the capital over the next 4 years. In a bid to put bobbies before buildings, it includes proposals to close Winchmore Hill Police Station in Green Lanes and Southgate Police Station in Chase Side. People have until March 6th to have their say about the Mayor's plans, either online or at town hall meetings hosted in every borough. The Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime, Stephen Greenhalgh, will also host a London-wide consultation meeting at City Hall on Thursday, February 28th. Under current plans, Enfield Police Station in Baker Street would open during the day, but Edmonton Police Station in 4 Street would become the only police station in the borough open 24 hours a day.
We've reached the end of our programme for this week, so from the team of
Joan,
Beverley, Rod and myself, Lilian, with Colin on controls, it's goodbye.
Bye.
Cheerio.